Live from the Motor City, all the way to the Volunteer State. It's time for the Reckless Speculation Podcast, where we recklessly speculate the latest news in the world of sports. From college football to NASCAR, we've got you covered. And don't forget to stick around for the world-famous Bet Your Nuts, where we will give you your best bets to make the most money. Now sit back, grab your favorite drink of choice, and join Robbie Davis, Raj Mehta, Brandon Chain, and Tom Sloan. It's showtime.
What is happening, everybody? This is Raj, Los Angeles Raider fan, and hence I'll never be a part of this particular show, at least living and breathing it. This is our home stadium, and two of our nemesis are playing there for the Super Bowl championship. So if that doesn't talk about or what it's like to be a Raider fan, if that doesn't show, then I don't know what does. Also, a special day today for everyone in basketball and in the world. It is 2/8/24, commemorating Kobe Bryant's two different numbers, and the Lakers unveiled the statue of Kobe Bryant outside of Crypto.com Arena, Staples as we call it. It's beautiful. It's him pointing a finger in the air in a very prominent, poised, powerful position and graceful. And that's exactly what he always has represented. And, rest in peace to himself and poor Gigi, who was 12 years old at the time, I believe, and the other 7 or souls, I believe, that were on that fateful flight. But moving on to other things at topic at hand, I guess there's a fucking game Sunday from what I hear. And we didn't want to just go straight up like this is offense versus defense, like every bro show and ESPN show. So we're going to go straight up prop bets all the way through. We do a segment called Bet Your Nuts. If we're doing the overall standings for the year, I think all of us have been castrated, which sucks, but just straight up and down. We're going player props, as you can see, some team props, some what the fuck props, or why the fuck is actually we're saying why not props, and anything involving, of course, the Swizzle, and even going down to Usher and some of the lineups, maybe special guests. I think we're gonna basically go. We're gonna try to get everyone retirement money. Anyways, let's introduce our two other co-hosts / panelists. Let's start with the producer extraordinaire, the guy that makes all of this possible, Detroit's own University of Michigan national championship fan and Detroit Lions soon-to-be champion fan, Mr. Tom Sloan.
Soon to be American League Central champions this year. I'm calling it. You heard it here first. Mr. Mehta, what is up? Yes, it is Super Bowl week. It's always a fun time, no matter who's playing. Unfortunately, my Lions were 3 points shy of getting there, but we've gone that road before. So maybe next year. We've been saying that since '57. So I think this is probably the closest we've ever been. So next year could be the case. We could be going to New Orleans. So we'll see.
Like I said, every sport, you got to pay your dues. And I think it's safe to say the Detroit Lions just paid their dues and everyone else's in the NFC. So good things are happening. Yep. And finally, the attorney extraordinaire from California to where else? Ohio, where else do you go to school? Tennessee, and you name it. Mr. Robert Davis Esquire. Rob, what's up?
I thought we were here to talk about Taylor. There's a football game this weekend.
Hey, I respect Rob because he doesn't give a shit what anyone else thinks, as all of us should be that way, and he is a proud Swiftie. And so he is stoked. He's going to run with those props for sure. What's going on, Rob? I know you've probably got action on 38 different props already? Maybe.
Before we get to the Super Bowl and what we're talking about today, let me just say, hey, I was at besides being a Taylor fan, I'm a huge UT basketball fan, and I was at Rupp Arena over the weekend. That atmosphere did not disappoint. Great showing from the Kentucky fans. Tennessee kicked their bleep, but it was on my bucket list. If you get a chance, go to Rupp. It's awesome.
Yeah, especially when they're 100% quiet, because Connect and Adu and everyone shut them the fuck up. And yeah, that for those that don't know, Dalton Connect, Northern Colorado transfer, unassuming white dude who is going to be a first-team All-American and a first-round draft pick. Rick Barnes can find talent, and this dude is fun to watch. Yeah. He can pretty much do it all, and very skilled. So that Tennessee team, watch out. He's a guy that they've been missing for the last 5 years, and they got a go-to guy finally. So I guess let's just fucking get into it. When we're going straight into player props, what we're thinking here is basically your standard per position props. So for example, wide receiver, we're going to be looking at, any of those. And this is a totally open forum. We've had suggestions, but receiver catches, receiver yards, receiver TDs, over unders, first quarter TDs, anytime TDs, that stuff. When it comes to running backs, similar yardage, TDs, attempts, some even receiving. I went with Pacheco, 17 yards receiving last game. I think he had 14. I just kept imagining him getting one in the flat and creeping, and it didn't happen, and that sucked. And moving on to quarterback, a similar thing. Rushing attempts is a big deal. I read that Patrick Mahomes has averaged, I believe, 26 yards rushing over, I can't remember the span, but he had, of course, 26 and a half last week or something like that. So always a science to this. The attempts, a lot of us like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson had 11 attempts last week, was his over-under. He had 8, because considering kneel downs are a rushing attempt. So just to give you an idea, and those were all fucking losers for me. But anyway, that's what we're talking about here. Rob,
kneel downs are a rushing attempt?
Yep. Kneel down is a rushing attempt. So like Josh Allen in the first week, I had him kneel downs 3 based on, that's 3 attempts right there. And he did not get there. Actually, he did, but Lamar did not. But another thing, INTs last week, Purdy was 0.5 INTs, and I took it, and he threw a pick, so I won.
Throw 2. He should have had 2.
He should have had 2, and this is a dude that 31 TDs, 11 picks. So, he's not Joe Montana with accuracy. So, anyways, you guys get where we're coming from here. I'm going to go straight into player props. Rob, go first, dude. What's your fucking lock? What's your go-to? What are we looking at?
So I'm looking at player to score 2 or more touchdowns. Last year I hit this with Jalen Hurts with 3 rushing touchdowns. And so I think this is going to be a high scoring game. And McCaffrey's plus 175. Kelsey's plus 450 or plus 400. I think Shanahan is going to take what Kansas City does best away from them. And so I'm not going there. I am liking Debo at plus 850 to score twice. Ooh. I think they're going to load the box to try to stop McCaffrey, and Debo gives them the versatility to catch and run with it.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, actually. And people understand we're not just going for gimmies. We're looking at, what's the best target, what's going to pay off, what's the best value. And Debo's got a lot of them. And plus 850, I think, is outstanding. And you look at like you said, C-Mac is one thing. Ayuk's drawing a really tough matchups on both sides with the All-Pro McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed. If somebody's going to break out and if the glass doesn't break like it does every fucking game with this dude, Debo's the guy. And he's also a great MVP pick. I saw, 20-1, 25-1.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that, but that's what we're talking about here. It's not just lots. We're talking about shit. If I put down $100, what's gonna finance my next excursion to Palm Springs, whatever. So I love it, dude. I think Debo is somebody that people should be looking at, provided he stays alive. Tom, what about you?
So I'm looking at what's the one problem that Kansas City has defensively. They're the 28th ranked defense against the run. Yeah. Who's on the other side for San Francisco? Shea White, Christian McCaffrey, CMC. Over under 89.5 yards. I think that's a gimme. You've got a hell of an offensive line, specifically off the left side. Trent Williams, number 71. I think he's like 875 years old. But he's kind of the catalyst to that offensive line. And I like that number. I think he's clearly can do that. And I'm going to double up on McCaffrey. He's got over under 33.5 receiving yards. So I think if Chris Jones can kind of start getting to him on the defensive side, Purdy's going to rely on dumping the ball off to McCaffrey more often than not in this game, which could open the door for a Debo or a Brandon Ayuk getting some yards. But those two, they seem to stick out most.
Are you taking separate bets or are you combining those? Because because what I'm looking at, you got passing and rushing over or under 128.5 at minus 30, or you got. I guess the odds are the same.
I was looking at them separate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's I think the rushing is a safe bet as long as he's healthy, as long as his thigh is okay. And he didn't seem to be having any problems 2 weeks ago against the Lions, so I like that bet.
Well, I saw crazy odds on, and I want to say what's up to my homeboy Roland, who is checking us out. His kid and my kid are on the same basketball team, and his boys love the show. So I appreciate that.
Watching.
I'll
spread the word. Spread the word.
Tell them all. Roland runs 5 on a NBA 2K with his homies and his kid that's on my kid's team at 9 years old, and they just murder fools. So I was like, live stream that shit and make a podcast, bro. That'd be
Raj, what are you looking for at the player props level?
Well, thanks for reining it in. But one thing that I saw was that longest passing reception. And last week, McCaffrey has great odds. And last week, he was tied with the longest at 28.5, I believe, until Ayuk had that miracle catch. So you can definitely see McCaffrey with those odds, and I've got to find it. But longest reception, Christian McCaffrey, is something to throw a little bit down on. Another one like that I love is that I've been riding tight ends and I've been riding Isaiah Pacheco. And Pacheco is average, I think, I want to say something like 23 carries, 120 plus yards over X amount of time, and a TD. TD anytime bets, you don't get great odds, but that dude scored a TD in every game. Yeah. This game will be no exception. And the Niners have not been awesome against the run in the playoffs. Against Green Bay and Detroit, they've given up an average of 5.3 yards per carry. This is a dangerous dude. I keep waiting for him to catch the ball more, but I'm hesitant of that. I saw his first quarter over under at 16 yards, and I will take the over on that.
Yep. 16.5 according to FanDuel.
16.5 on FanDuel. I will take that. What is the latest on his game?
Overall is Where's it at? Okay, here it is. It is 67.5 overall.
67.5 overall.
I'm
all about it.
Yeah.
My boy Charles and I had him at 65.5 against Baltimore, and we took the under, and he got 68. So don't doubt Isaiah Pacheco.
And I love how they say he runs like he's mad at the ground, and he does. I mean, he chops those knees, and for a 4th round pick out of Rutgers that no one heard of 3 years ago, 7th round.
7. Yeah, just before Purdy.
Is this a situation where he's in the right system, or is this guy just a natural talent and he could kind of do this anywhere else?
Well,
probably both. Combination of both.
The first touchdown scorer. Look, if you want to make some money, this is where it's at. You got Pacheco plus 550, Kelsey plus 700, Samuel plus 900. Whoa. What about a QB sneak from Mahomes or a run-in for plus 1,800? Those are some damn good odds.
Throw a couple bucks at that, yeah.
Mahomes definitely. I don't know about Purdy, but you could see Mahomes spreading everyone out, and that the Niners tend to be pretty shallow with those 2 linebackers. They can do it all, and nobody's craftier than Kermit Mahomes. Hey, side note, real quick, Mahomes' family is I'm hesitant to use the word fuck ups, but I will. Is it going to have any effect on him? His brother being a jack off and it got dismissed, but his father got a DUI, his second one this past weekend. And
his brother's been out of the equation for a while. He goes to games, but the camera's not on him. And a reporter asked him about his dad, and I thought that was Bush League, in my opinion.
Totally.
I think he's got thick skin. This guy's a consummate professional, and I don't think anything can rattle him. Even his ankle situation that he had last year.
Oh, God.
It didn't stop him. He didn't let it stop him, and he wasn't coming out of the game. So I don't think that's going to be a factor at all.
Well, I mean, this is all he knows, right? Playing the Super Bowl. It's not like, the moment's too big. This is what the NFL season looks like for him.
Yep.
It's just so unnecessary. Check yourselves. Can't you guys be fuck ups after they win?
Yeah. Well,
here's a
public service announcement. That family's too rich to be driving. So get a driver and
not to mention he served 40 days in jail with his second DUI.
This is his second one.
This is his 3rd DUI. This was number 3 that he just got.
And this is Texas. I think it's a felony DUI in Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
He ain't got to be at the game. So what do you guys think about this one I just come across? Mahomes and Purdy to combine for 50-plus rushing yards, plus 150. I love that because how many times during a game do you see Mahomes, who has absolutely nothing downfield, but he has all the room and he just takes off and he just knows where the line is, and I think that could be a no-brainer. But there is some really fun ones that you look at if you've got a few dollars to throw down, and Travis Kelce to catch every one of his targets plus 800. I mean, even if you throw $3 at it, you're looking at a nice little return there. So,
again, I mean, there's a few. And Warner running around there, they can get a finger on a ball pretty easy. That's a dangerous one with these guys. But then again, I don't expect Kelce to be hanging around those two.
Any non-quarterback to throw a passing touchdown plus 3,500.
Antoine Randall L.
Plus 3,500.
Plus 3,500.
That's not bad either.
How about this one? Super Bowl MVP repeat. Patrick Mahomes to rush for the opening touchdown. Plus 50,000.
Wait, what was that again?
Why does it matter that he's the MVP? Oh, that's just like the cheesy name they give it.
Just repeat. He's going to repeat as MVP, and he's going to rush for the opening.
Oh, the two things. Plus 50,000.
Plus 50,000.
So if he scores the first TD on a rush, and he wins the MVP.
Yep.
It's plus 50,000.
Yep. Yeah, that's insane.
All right. So while we're at MVP, can we get to MVP?
You want to get to MVPs? I have a great.
Wait, I want to do
Okay. All right. Well,
real quick. I saw offensive linemen scoring a touchdown at plus 4,000. I guess that's something Detroit would do, like a tackle eligible or something. And then what was the other one? It'll come to me. But yeah, if you guys want to go.
By the way,
what's that?
I'm putting that to bed. Skipper did report.
I know. Oh, he did.
So did Decker, I'm putting that one to bed.
There is no doubt about that. Are there anything else before we get into MVP?
Do you want to do MVP right before we do prediction?
Yeah, I thought we'd go do that at the end, dude.
Yeah, let's push that back.
Yeah.
So we don't want to give away. See, here's the thing. We can do the MVP with the prediction. We don't want to give away our predictions yet because that's the final. So, we want to keep people waiting around.
Hey, is there a prop for the losing team to win MVP?
I'm sure there is. I mean, Jaguar got the Conn Smythe back when the Dallas Stars. No, who was it? When
it's never happened in football.
The Stanley Cup.
I thought it happened once in football. Didn't like Fran Tarkin didn't win it or something?
Well, I mean, obviously you have the props, you have the odds for MVP. So
right, but I'm just saying, like, there's no blanket. Would a player from the losing team win the MVP?
Here we go. Here it is, right here. Okay. Plus 3,900 for a yes.
That's less than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was going to be like plus 50,000 or something.
Nope.
I would see Chuck Howley of the Cowboys is the only Super Bowl MVP from a losing team. Now he is a Hall of Famer. This was Super Bowl 5. That was one player to do so.
Huh.
Well, Christian McCaffrey sounds not as funky as Chuck Howley.
Like Raj said, we're not giving easy picks, but if you want to kind of diversify your risk versus Patrick Mahomes, 1.5 touchdowns, over under minus 160. I'll take that over all day.
Yeah.
What was it at? How many TDs at minus 160?
Right 1.5.
So I would take the over on Mahomes, and I'd consider the under on Purdy.
Yeah, I agree.
And here's your passing yards for them.
So I'd take the under on Purdy again. I think I saw 126 for the first half.
If San Fran's winning, if San Fran's passing that much, they're losing the game.
Yes, exactly. And Purdy has not been. They haven't had to use him that way.
Well, he's been a second half quarterback, and what do you want your quarterback to do? Is be successful in the second half. And that certainly was the case 2 weeks ago against.
Before we move on to team props, player prop bets that I am betting, I don't even know the odds on it. Missed extra point.
Oh, well, Jake Moody, sign me up for that.
I love it.
Yep,
that's a good one, dude. Yep. Missed extra point. Moody is a rookie from Michigan.
Yeah.
I love that.
Looking at some of these receiving, Kittle over under 49.5. Rashee Rice seems to have been the he stood out. He's been the number one for Kansas City.
He's been huge, but I believe the first game against Miami, he was at 40 something. And now it's Amon-Ra, it's 68. That's a lot of yards.
But here's one. MVS, he doesn't get a lot, but he's the deep threat for Kansas City for Mahomes. And over under 18.5, that's kind of interesting.
He'll have one catch for 19 yards.
Here's some rushing props here.
Was it Tony? How many drop passes for Tony?
He's not playing. He's gonna. They said he might get into special teams. I'd be shocked if he's even gets put in for that.
Well, Sky Moore is going to be playing because they took out Omena who's got hurt.
He was clamoring. He was clamoring for jobs for next year in media day. But here's the rushing props. Raj, you talked about Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes currently at 26.5 and Purdy at 12.5.
I think I'm riding Debo this whole week.
Yeah, he was kind of non-existent in the NFC Championship game. He's got 2 weeks to recover. I think you're going to see heavy Pacheco in this game, just because what he offers and seeing how Kansas City's run defense is, like I said earlier, is less to be desired. I think that's an opportunity for San Francisco to get Kansas City maybe back on their heels early on in that game. So yeah, I would take that Debo rushing all day long. For sure.
Another interesting one I saw was 4.5 number of different players to have a rushing attempt for the 49ers. Now, if you think about the guaranteed 3, who would be
Mitchell? You've got
Mitchell. It would basically be check
Purdy,
the tight end. Samuel, Purdy, McCaffrey, Mitchell, and then does the fullback
use check
or one reverse or one sweep?
Yeah. But you got to be careful because if you throw it, even if you're behind the line of scrimmage, you just flop it up. That's considered a reception. That's a pass.
Well, Mitchell,
I like the over on that. I like the 5.
Well, Mitchell came in last game and had 3 carries after McCaffrey fell on his head at the end of the game. Just something to keep in mind. And, the question basically comes down to the fullback. Do they give him, a carrot, for lack of a better expression?
He got lots of carrots 2 weeks ago. He made 2 huge first downs for San Francisco when Purdy, Melifonwu missed the sack, had him wrapped up. Purdy ducked down and he hit Juszczyk on that sideline. Beautiful throw. But Juszczyk just has the knack to get open. And that's what scares me with this offense. They seem to know where everybody's at all times. And the same could be said with Kansas City, I think. But this offense is a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit more high-powered, but we'll see. I mean, we'll get into that later. Does that matter when you're playing Kansas City? But, yeah, so I think Juszczyk is a huge key in this game. And a 4th and 1 or a goal line stance, yeah, he's going to get a fullback up the gut. You know that.
Do you guys have the interception totals? Like I said, I want on Purdy being 0.5, basically yes or no, he throws a pick. And I imagine this time it may be a little different.
Total interceptions, yeah. So each of them over under a half. Purdy is over -140, under +110. Mahomes over a half, -120, under -110.
So case in
of
point,
those two, I think Mahomes throws a pick before Purdy does.
Yeah.
I mean, case in point, folks, those aren't great values, but
no.
I think Purdy definitely throws a pick.
Purdy's thrown a pick in both playoff games so far. First half too. So
yes,
those could be good odds. That would be a parlay builder with those. You're not really going to make much.
Yeah.
On those singularly, but yeah. So.
All right, let's get to the team props. This is going to be interesting here.
Rob, I want you to run with this one because this is your go-to.
All right, so I think coin toss. It's going to depend on the coin toss, right? How it dictates. But I like for some good value, San Francisco's first outcome of the first drive plus 350, a field goal attempt. I think Shanahan moves the ball, but I think Kansas City's defense, when the field shrinks, steps up in this first drive. So I like that as a first thing. I like Kansas City plus 675 as a turnover on the first drive. I think they're coming out cocky. They are the underdogs. I can see them making the first mistake. We'll get in. It's hard to do the show and not tell where we're leaning because it's interesting. But Tom, what do you got for some interesting team props off the bat?
Well, it's looking like for me, it's I guess this kind of falls into the player props as well. You're looking at Christian McCaffrey anytime score. What site are you looking at right now?
Caesars.
Yeah, I should have looked into that.
Do y'all have sportsbook gambling in Michigan or online gambling?
Oh yeah, heck yeah, they do. Yep. Yeah, go, Raj. You take that over. I'm gonna look around.
Well,
keep looking here to come up with a good one. So you take it over, Roger.
One thing like on DraftKings would be halftime, full time, like who leads in the half, who leads in the full, or who leads in the first quarter and end of the game wins the full game. So, for example, the highest odds would be plus 1,900, a tie at the half, and then the Chiefs win the game, which at plus 1,900, shit. I mean, that could definitely happen. It's a plus 1,700 if it's a tie and the Niners win the game, and plus 650 more or less if they alternate. In terms of quarters, pretty much the same thing, but just lower odds. But if you got a feeling one way or the other, that's a really nice way to go.
Raj, let me ask you this one. First scoring play, San Fran touchdown plus 180, KC touchdown plus 185, KC field goal plus 360. Same with San Francisco plus 360. KC safety plus 4,500. Well, we had two Super Bowls in a row that started with a safety, didn't we? At some point.
That's a great question. And
I know it never happened. I think it happened 2 years in a row.
Maybe the Rams with that defensive line did something like that.
Yeah.
Look, I hate the Chiefs. I don't like the Niners, but I'm all Kansas City this game. I think a lot of stuff is going to come up their way. And, I think the Niners, if they get the ball, will not score at all. We'll punt, possibly in a 3-and-out. But, I think the crowd's going to be pro San Francisco. The Chiefs are kind of like the Patriots. This is like their 20th time being here. Ho-hum. Bay Area is right there. There's more millionaires in Silicon Valley than there are in Kansas City, Missouri. And so, of course, it's corporate bullshit as well. But again, Silicon Valley. So I'm wondering what effect that will have. But it's not to steal Detroit's thing, but it's the Chiefs against the world, against everybody. And I just think they have this Niner team right where they want.
An interesting listener texted me and asked, what do you guys think about the overtime? Will there be overtime? Plus 900 for yes, negative 1,600 for no. Are you taking the easy money with no, or are you putting some money on plus 900 for yes?
And that's the thing.
Did you see Schefter's little teaser that he tweeted out? He making that probably a jab at people that think that there's the script, like got the rundown of the game. It's going to go into 2 overtimes. Be the first Super Bowl to go into 2 overtimes. Damn well Roger Goodell would be loving that, to extend it as long as he can to keep this thing going.
I wonder how that works. Like, do people pay like, hey, this is my overtime commercial slot if it gets there, or do they rerun some? I just wonder what.
No, I'm sure they already have it prepared, and then if
they're ready to
overtime, that they'll do that in between, like awards presentations and stuff like that. I'm sure they hit every scenario. The NFL is king, so they've got all their avenues covered.
And that's cool point right there, by the way, is that's a two-way. Not every site will have a yes and then a no at a minus 1600. It may just be a yes. So that's interesting. I'm not sure where or what site that was on. That's kind of on Caesars. That's kind of cool. I would definitely at plus 900 throw down on the overtime. I mean, these teams seem evenly matched. Schematically, they're different. You got one team that's going to drop back a little bit more and not blitz as much because they don't think they have to. And another team that, just case in point against Lamar Jackson, they only rushed 16 for 81 yards. It's still 5 per carry, but that's what Kansas City does. They made them 3 for 11 on third downs. They had 4 sacks. This Kansas City defense is playing the best under Steve Spagnuolo. They averaged 17.3 points per game during the year.
All year, 20
playoffs,
games.
13.7. They're also the youngest team in the NFL.
And Raj, this is what you talked about. Like San Fran's -2 right now. Coming to Sunday, it could be a pick'em game. I mean, like the money's going to start flowing in.
Well, you look
People
at
are going to come
City's
into Vegas this weekend.
You look at Kansas City's defense. They're
coaching. It's like an infant versus like a walrus.
Well, like I said, Kansas City's defense 28th in rushing, but they're like 5th or 6th against the pass. So they're contrastingly they're pretty solid, and this has definitely been the best defense that Kansas City's had in any of their Super Bowl or AFC Championship run.
Excuse me for a second, fellas. All this football Super Bowl talk has got me excited. I need to make a new drink. Don't get to the Taylor props until I get back.
We want one thing I'll say is let's consider the quarterbacks Kansas City faced: Tua, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Combined 57% completion rating or percentage and a 5.3 yards per catch. Now, rushing wise, but things get skewed when this is the case. Kansas City had leads, but they've been very different in the playoffs.
30 below 0 when they played the Dolphins. That takes a lot. I mean, that changes a lot when you're looking at that.
That does help.
Yeah. So I found some that I kind of like here team wise. So here's an interesting one before the team. The opening touchdown or the opening kickoff. Touchback, yes. FanDuel is -330. Touchback, no, is +235. Return for a touchdown, +10,000. Interesting stat there to look at. I guess, when you look at, if you got a few extra bucks you want to toss down on that. But looking at San Francisco as a team, the opening or their first score method. And I mentioned earlier that I can see Debo getting to Kansas City early. So I like their method of scoring first of a touchdown. FanDuel's got them at +200. DraftKings at +190. And then on the flip side, Kansas City, I like them to go down and Harrison Butker kick field goal for their first score, +340 and +370. So
I like that.
I can see that happening, getting settled in. I think the crowd, like you said, Raj, is going to be heavy San Francisco. So I think that's going to, motivate the 49ers, the faithful. Oh, I wanted them 2 weeks ago. Faithful, give me a break. What's one pride or nothing? But I can see that really firing up San Francisco, getting a touchdown in their first one. So those are my team props.
I like the return thing, but this is indoors with 2 kickers with boots on them, so I'm pretty sure there'll be a touchback. But
it'd be interesting if there's a kickoff that goes to the uprights. I wonder if there's a prop bet for that one.
Yeah. I see a lot of dads getting permission to take their daughters to the Super Bowl for the first time.
Oh man, yeah.
And Rob, you want to discuss quickly what we've read about what she's done for her brand, but more specifically the 2 of them together for the NFL?
Yes.
fractions of a percentage of exposure.
Yeah. So like the game she attends, it's what, like 0.04%, something like that. And then, but that percentage of exposure has increased the Chiefs brand by $331 million, something like that. That's insanity numbers. We joke, like there's gonna be a whole generation of people that are random Chiefs fans, and you're gonna be like, wait, do you even know what state Kansas City plays in? Because Donald Trump did not.
I told you, one of my boys from college was like, yeah, so Tyler told me there's about 100 new 14-year-old Chiefs fans in his school, which is awesome. And he was like rolling his eyes. I was like, that's all with Kelsey jerseys.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw today the latest conspiracy was, Kelsey's number is 87, and then
87.
Taylor's favorite number 13 equals 100, and that somehow shows that the NFL is rigged. And I'm like, how do you guys get to these crazy things?
Well, what's 4 + 9? 13.
13.
And, what's Brock Purdy's number? 13. And there's a whole laundry list of 13. Both teams can claim some sort of relevance in that.
Yeah. If you haven't gotten to our segue, that is our segue to our WTF props.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, in the business, you just nailed it. You definitely nailed it.
Yes.
So here's the T Swizzle prop bets that you can find and bet on.
I am 100% betting on that. Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Either way, if it's CMC, if it's Mahomes, if it's one of the Niners, they're going to say even Taylor Swift being here couldn't deter us from winning. If it's one of the Chiefs players, 100% they're going to say something.
Well, it says his speech. So you wonder if the question's asked by the reporter and he doesn't actually say Taylor Swift. I wonder on a technicality here. That's a former attorney. But yeah, I don't know. Plus, it's dangerous to throw shade, dude. That army of 13-year-old.
Well, here I think if you look at last week with Kittle made some interesting comments, and Kittle's kind of loose-lipped. I could see him say he gets the MVP. I can see him being like, I just want to say hi to Taylor, making some kind of comment like that just to get a rise.
Leave his room number on there too.
Right.
Or hey, thanks Taylor for coming to watch us play. There's going to be something.
I want to thank Taylor Swift for opening the eyes of many teenage girls to the NFL and putting different eyeballs on it. And so that's definitely that's not a Kelsey. You know who won't mention Taylor Swift's name? That would be Patrick Mahomes, because I'm sure Brittany put the clamps on and be like, you better not have that woman's name coming out of your lips. That. So
old Trout mouth would not like that at all, dude.
Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he was asked in media day that can you do your best Kermit the Frog impression? And he said, I'm talking right now. I thought that was great. That was awesome.
Well done.
Is there any website out there where you can get will Kelsey propose and Taylor say no?
Oh, I haven't seen the no. I've seen the proposal.
Wow.
I've not seen the no.
But I do like the last one here. Will Kelsey have more receptions than Swift is platinum albums? 10. I would probably go under on that one, because he looked really good in the AFC Championship game in the first half, and he kind of wasn't around much in the second half. But it's a different beast when you're playing against those San Francisco linebackers. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I like it. That's a cool little prop.
I think on that one, I'm going. We've put that back up there. Make sure I have this right. I think I'm betting both the over and the exactly.
Oh,
he was 11 for 11 in the AFC Championship game.
Well, and there was a prop that he would catch we talked about it earlier, that he would catch every target, and it was like plus, I think it was like plus 10,000 or something to that effect. So,
Raj, are you touching the proposal bet?
No.
I think that's too obvious.
Yeah, two public figures like that, as if they need. I mean, literally, like the television and all those shitty magazines would explode.
I could see them going off and like there's an announcement that they're getting married and only the important people were invited. And unfortunately, Robbie, you're not one of them. So sorry.
I don't see it. I think with Greenlaw and Fred Warner, the fastest, best covering inside linebacker combo in the NFL, that's going to be tough. Back to Kittle, by the way, he's hurt. He didn't practice the first week. He has not been himself. So even on that 49.5 yards receiving, I'm taking the under there.
Yeah, you're right on that one. But he's a gamer. I wouldn't put anything past him. So here's some more like what the fuck bets. Obviously, the Gatorade color is always a popular one. In pre-show, we talked. Is it gonna be red? To me, I think that's the obvious color. For me, I'm looking more purple because purple seemed to be significant with the logo. You look at that logo, there's a lot of purple in there. So I'm thinking purple based on the logo of the Super Bowl. So those are always good. And I don't have a graphic up here, but it's Reba McEntire is singing the national anthem this year. Interesting combination of Reba McEntire and Usher, who we'll get to here in a minute, doing the halftime show. But the national anthem over under is 89.5. Unfortunately, I do not have the odds to that, but I think last year there was a lot of buzz that it was going to be longer than expected, but it ended up being lower. So I can see this being. I could probably go under on this one for good old Reba. She's kind of a fast singer, so
yeah. I'm seeing 90.5 seconds after opening at 83.5.
Oh wow!
I would definitely take the under if it opened at 83.5. Now, last year, invariably, there's always someone in sound check that leaks, and that happened last year, and it leaked the over, and the fucking under came in.
Yep.
So consider that if it opens at 83.5, but the public thinks slow talking country crooner, but I agree, man. 90.5. That's the public. I would take the under for sure.
Yeah, as three guys that are on a show that almost always runs long.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna take the under also because I think when you're singing, you're gonna hit short. That's a long. Because I think when they started doing this bet, it was about 60 seconds, and then it keeps going up and up. Eventually, the under's got to come down.
Yeah, it's 90.5. So the over right now, FanDuel plus 102, DraftKings minus 110, and BetMGM plus 100. And the under is FanDuel minus 128, DraftKings minus 110, and BetMGM minus 130. So really, if you want to make some money off that, hit that FanDuel and take the over on it. So, but yeah, it says here that it did start at 84.5. So interesting that number fluctuated so fast.
That's
so
the big move. Dude.
Yeah, that's the public. But folks, just to give you an example, if you bet $10 on the over at plus 102, you would win $20.20 total. If you bet $10 on the under at minus 128, you would win $17.81. And that's kind of what we're discussing in terms of value and odds. Those two are close. Obviously, they're going to be closer with lower amounts betting. Incidentally, since 2007, when this started being tracked, the over is hit 9 times, the under 7 times, and 1 push.
That's interesting.
Hence why they have the hook this year. None of that.
How long is she going to draw out that in the home of the bride.
Do we have a prop? Do we have a prop of how many Taylor cuts they're gonna get?
Oh, I'm sure it's there. I don't have it, but I'm sure there's an over under how many times she's shown, and I think it's probably during the game. I would probably say she's going to be shown 8 or 9 times.
I was trying to find that, and I would say more. I mean, Kansas, how many possessions do they get? You know, Kelsey on a third.
If Kelsey has 10 receptions, she's getting shown 10 times.
Yeah.
Or more than that, 12, 13.
Or anytime there's like a moment, like they're showing those two. And to Swift's credit, man, she's not being obnoxious or ostentatious. No. She's not the one wanting the screen. People get pissed at, why is she on all the time?
Well, did you see her reaction when
you guys, man? Like, shut up. It's good
CBS.
This is 100% the networks and NFL being like, this is a cash cow. Yeah.
And dads with daughters.
CBS kept putting her on the screen, and she's looking up at the screen and seeing herself, and you could see her getting visibly upset, like, stop showing me. And
she doesn't want to be the focus, so don't get mad at her.
To me, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's awesome to see the biggest superstar, the most popular person in the world, okay, who nobody knows, nobody this side of the entertainment scope and the sports world knows too much about unless you're named Robbie Davis. But you're seeing her sports and Taylor Swift did not interject, and you're seeing her absolutely enjoying the hell out of what's going on. You see her swearing, "Let's fucking go!" And even at the Grammys when she won it, she's like, "Let's fucking go!" Like she won. You can see like that mentality is now carrying over to how she presents herself, in her world. So I think it's really cool, and any way to get more eyeballs on the sport. Just like we would love any way to get more eyeballs.
The thing is like Eminem being a Detroit game. Like, that's cool. Or like,
what did we talk about?
Jack Nicholson being at Laker games, Spike Lee being at Knicks games. Like, it's cool when entertainment and sports collide. And yeah, she just happens to be the most famous person in the world at the moment.
So our Talladega partner here, Barry, says, first off, he says Reba's old. I agree with that. And then he thinks that people are going to crowd me when we show up on the infield. So, and I wouldn't doubt it, because your boy is going to be decked out in natty gear, Michigan natty gear, for the weekend. So Roll Tide ain't gonna go blue. So it's gonna be a fun time. But I'll have a number 45 hat on as well. But anyway, thanks for watching, Barry. But I mean, I just think it's awesome. I have no problems with it, and I love to see a certain sect of people just absolutely.
Well, Randall, who's probably Randall, one of our partners, is talking about his daughter, who's I think 13 or so, maybe a little older. She's pumped about the Super Bowl. She's been pumped this whole playoffs because of Taylor, and it's like, it's bringing, like, how is expanding the sport a bad thing? And it's like, and then the fact they want to watch the other games. Oh, who's, it's funny, who's Taylor's team going to play next? But yeah, it's funny. I mean, yes, I'm a Taylor fan, but it's also just exciting to watch this whole culture phenomenon. It's like,
I mean, we talked about it in the championship Sunday. Like, what did we want? Eminem versus it was Eminem versus Taylor Swift. I mean, that would have been an iconic Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But, I mean, half of it happened, but I mean, in Detroit's case, Eminem was kind of the cheerleader, so to speak, for that team. So, I mean, it was awesome. And when you can kind of put a face to a celebrity and to a team, in this case, Eminem, from Detroit, but Taylor Swift, not from Kansas City, but dating Travis Kelce. So I think that gives you a different layer that it's more than just a game. And for the Super Bowl, you absolutely want that. No question about it.
Yeah.
So we didn't really hit on other the coin toss winner, and so there's a couple there.
Tails never fails.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I think there's been a lot of and there should be.
I love red Gatorade.
Yeah,
both teams wear red. I'm surprised the odds are that good.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be red because I think it's too obvious. I really
do. What? Just side note, what is y'all's favorite color of Gatorade?
The original lemon lime.
Okay, you're a serial killer. No one calls them by their flavors. It's the colors.
I like the zeros. So
it's lemon lime.
You like the blue or the pink?
No, it's the yellow.
It's not yellow. It is not. That's lemon lime.
Oh, I know what the flavor is. Nobody calls them by the flavor. You call them by the color.
It looks like Mountain Dew, like nuclear piss. But
nuclear piss. It's
I don't like glacier ice, like bullshit made up marketing terms that don't use an actual flavor.
That's like the kids these days that use the 96 box crayons. No, there's 8 colors, and you just color them different pressures to make different colors.
Different pressures.
Oh,
I love it.
I'm a yellow or an orange guy.
Orange. How cliche, the Tennessee guy. Hey, by the way, the longest national anthem ever was in 1991. Whitney Houston went for 1 minute and 56 seconds. And side note, that became a gold record, I think. It hit number 6 on the Hot 100, the Billboard back in the day, and it was certified platinum. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, so going longer could pay off if you don't suck. But before we go on, let's get to some Usher stuff, right? We had talked about Usher props, Tom.
Yeah.
We talked about number one. Number one. What's his first song going to be? If we were going to bet on it, we're looking for places to bet. Number 2. What's his closing song? Like, how many are going to be in that medley? And number 3, super secret guest. What are we looking at? And
I'm pulling it up right now. As I'm trying to do something for you as well. Let's see here. Where's it at? Okay, I'm getting it up.
For those who are watching and who are, if you're tuning in for your first time, just know Raj and I can't make a GD PowerPoint. And so all of this is Tom's doing. And so we're just like, hey, Tom, can you do this? Can you do that? And
so here's the props for first song. The best odds, or I should say the minus 120 is My Way. And the long shot is plus 4,000 Boyfriend. Then you OMG plus 1,100. DJ Got You Falling in Love Again. That's coming in at plus 700. I want to get some love in this club. And I apologize for the listeners out there that you just had to hear.
Was actually Christina, I think, liked that quite a bit. That was actually way better than I would have expected looking at you.
She's sleeping, I'm sure. So then we have the last song coming in at plus 100. Yeah. And the long shot is good, which I have no idea. OMG plus 750. Confessions Part 2 plus 390. So it's definitely he's got some hits, and I don't think my favorite one, which is a little bit too slow, I don't think that's going to make the cut. So
Nice and Slow.
Yes.
I want to put my hands in places I've never seen.
I'm sure he's put those hands in many places.
It's like Confessions, like the lyrics to it aren't exactly the most appropriate, but those songs are badass. And we had talked about collaborations, and it was Ludacris and Luda and Little John. We could definitely see them coming out. He does some song with Bieber. That could happen.
Bieber's sitting at minus 114. Ludacris minus 250. Here's a name to kind of look out for, who's been in the news lately. Post Malone minus 340. He's kind of starting to make his move to mainstream. Or the long shot, the aforementioned Taylor Swift. There's no way in hell she's getting up there. Plus 550. Lil Wayne. Yeah.
Taylor Swift went plus 550.
What's that? Taylor? 550. Yeah.
She should be plus 5,000.
How about
what about Puff? Because for those that don't know, originally
Diddy.
when he was an infant,
It's Diddy plus 390.
He did a few songs with Puff, but then Puff kind of played him out, and Babyface LaFace Records, one of their partners is Outkast. This is not in Atlanta. Otherwise, I'd be all about that. But
how about Dolly Fireball? He's coming in at plus 134. That's the one and only Pitbull. And here's the
with Pitbull, right?
Here's the highest odds. And I'm not sure if this would happen though.
Alicia Keys. Yeah.
550, so yeah, I don't.
He did My Boo back in the day with Alicia Keys. I'm just thinking, like, when you got young girls and stuff to mobilize the entire audience, it's got to be someone. It could be a combo. I could see Bieber, Lil Jon, Luda. I don't know about Alicia coming out there on top of that. She's a little classy, but that would rope in a lot of audiences there. But yeah, I was just, you remind me back in the day, Burn, You Got It Bad. So a lot of that stuff's kind of porno. So I don't know if we'll be able to go through that, but there's no doubt.
Here's another tidbit. He's touring. This is kind of the start of his. So 2024, he's going to go on a huge tour. You might want to look to see who. And that's not insider information, by the way. And that's information you don't get at most sports podcasts. I'm just telling you.
Usher has an album out?
Usher's got going on tour. He's got a huge tour.
I think he has a new album.
Worldwide tour, which I'm sure he's got an album coming. But you might want to look to see who's touring with him. You can definitely see some sort of a collaboration between who's touring with him and who might show up for a special appearance in this one.
By the way, Rob,
honest, I had to go and what's that?
Where is Usher from?
He is from the greater Chattanooga region, so he is our hometown kid. His
Usher
son,
Raymond Parkway.
His son is a boarding student. Well, never mind. I probably shouldn't say anything about minor. Never mind.
Says the attorney. Yeah, dude, he's in Atlanta October 17th. Interesting. Yeah, he's got a Coming Home is his new album coming out. It's dropping.
So yeah.
Yeah, so to be honest, I didn't look up what Usher songs were. It's been a while since I've heard him.
Well, it was shocking when they announced he was going to do the halftime because he hasn't really been around. But Barry coming in hot here with the Post Malone is booked for pregame. He's absolutely right. I knew there was something going on with him.
So he's gonna be there already.
Yeah. So
then I definitely like that bet of him coming on stage at halftime.
And he thinks, yeah, will be the first song that he leads.
Barry's also a dummy, so don't let it.
He did put a challenge into your hands. Said that he parties harder than you, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if that's true or not.
Bro, I don't get it with Post Malone. I'll flat out say it. I like that song with the Spider-Verse thing, but I don't fucking get it, dude.
Well, he's going country.
I saw him at Bonnaroo, and I thought he sucked.
He's going country. He's doing a country album, so
yeah. There you go, fucking case closed, bro.
Yeah, the jump in the shark.
But we are at the age of the Tupac, Dre, Biggie, Nas, Jay-Z, Eminem rap era, and so we don't get the or at least I don't get the younger generation rap.
This new rap is you put a C in front of it as far as I'm concerned.
That's not even rap, dude. The dude sings like ballads and it's like auto-tuned, but it's not like what? Yeah. I don't get it. He just parties a lot, which means at this rate he'll probably be dead soon, which sucks. But
surprised he isn't already. He looked dead last year. Some of his shows.
Yeah, man. Like I don't get that, dude. But whatever. No props. I'm betting on for that asshole. But anyways, any other WTFs? I was thinking why the fuck not, but or what the fuck props. We got into Usher, Anthem. Anything else?
Does Andy Reid retire if he wins?
Yes, I think he does.
I'm not sure that's a prop, but I haven't seen it, but just throwing it out there.
I do. Why not? You go out on top, back-to-back Super Bowl champion.
He's 65. Not only that, Steve Spagnuolo was a former head coach. He kind of got done dirty. Yeah. He is by far, I mean, everybody on that team, especially on defense, credits that dude with what they've done. And this would be a great way to turn it over, somebody who's earned it. So that is a great point. I did not even think of that.
Yes. And there's also an offensive coordinator that was with the team this week that is formerly a coach there, and Eric Bieniemy. So I think there's an opportunity to have him come right back and be offensive coordinator again and have Spagnuolo possibly.
So if you're searching for offsite books or looking for a prop, not be a bad one to look at.
That retirement one, that a lot of stars are aligning there, especially with Bieniemy coming back. And there's no doubt that Reid is very loyal and he likes his guys. And he was pissed when Bieniemy didn't get a fair shot, and the guy can't get the job in Washington. Like, what the fuck, dude? Something ain't right.
That's a mess. That's a whole mess. But then you have to wonder, what is this? Is it a character issue? Because you win the Super Bowl and you let him go to take an OC job, same position with the Commanders. So I don't know, but they tried to get him back in this playoff run, and the NFL wouldn't let him happen. So, but he did spend some time with the team this week, kind of gave him some speech, and most of those players are familiar with him. So, it would be plug and play as far as that's concerned. So, but let's move on to the aforementioned MVP / final prediction. What do we say, guys? I'll put it up on the screen here. The Super Bowl MVP. These are the top 12 odds according to FanDuel. Not sure why Nick Bosa's on there. He kind of was didn't do a whole lot last week or 2 weeks ago, but you never know. You absolutely never know when it comes to the Super Bowl. It could be anybody. What was it? The Patriots DB that got 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl, and he got the MVP. His name escapes me. That was a few years ago. So, but
Troy Brown, and then the Raiders signed him.
That was a receiver. Yeah, he was a receiver, but it was I forget. It was their.
No. There was another. No, not Troy Brown. It was the Cowboys. Shit, I remember that asshole, and they signed him right away and paid him. He did not Larry Allen. Damn it, it'll come to me. But yeah, Al Davis gave him a contract, and he was like basically cut halfway through the year.
Yeah, it didn't bode well for him.
That bastard. Usually, if there's a bad consequence at the end of it, the word Raiders is involved. Rashee Rice, dude, I love that dude, but in fantasy, he was a great pickup, and now he's not a secret any longer. But at plus 5,000, I mean, dude, that dude could break one. You got an 85-yard touchdown.
Yep.
That's it right there. Pacheco at plus 2,500. Those are great odds. A guy, like I said, been averaging over 100 yards. I think can't remember the time frame, but just like he said, I mean, anybody that's been to Jersey understands why that dude runs like he's pissed off at the world. This Jersey sucks, but sorry, I'm Indian, so I have family there automatically. But I mean, this dude is just another level. Again, drafted 10 or 11 spots before Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, which is an interesting storyline in itself. You have two 2 7th rounders, late 7th rounders that are huge pieces of their team's puzzle. So that you don't really hear too much that aren't named Tom Brady late rounds. So picks, but
I think Debo is a really good call there. He's getting a lot of love at those odds. I saw 125 for combined yards for him, running and receiving. You know, I think he is the best, toughest matchup for Kansas City. Ayuk is somebody they can match up with. Kittle is someone they can match up with. Debo is all over the field. You know, they use him really well, especially in conjunction with C-Mac. He's kind of a guy that they don't really have someone for. Now, he's got to stay on the field, though. But a lot of props around Debo have great value. So check that out.
Yeah. That he's my player I'm circling for this game also. The interesting thing to me in these odds are, all right, so let's take the premise that Kansas City wins, and you have, say, Kelsey 2 touchdowns, but obviously Patrick threw Kelsey 2 touchdowns. Almost always this award goes to the quarterback. But with the elephant in the room, do they give it to Kelsey for the height, for the more just later on drama?
Will the real MVP actually get the MVP?
Right, but between the two, but if you're saying, if you're betting Kansas City wins, Mahomes plus 150 versus Kelsey plus 1,400, put your money on Kelsey for the value.
I mean, if he has more than 7 catches, yeah. 7 catches and a touchdown, yeah. You book that. You book that. So you want to start? You want to start, Robbie, with your winner, and then go ahead with your MVP?
Yes, I will start. We're on 2 weeks of this, and I'm still not confident. I think San Francisco is a better conglomerate, but Kansas City has the best player, and it's a team sport in the NFL. The time that Mahomes has lost, it's been when the defensive line gets after him. San Francisco has that defensive line. But with that being said, if this line holds, giving Kansas City the points, I can't have Mahomes on the field with points and not take him. So I'm going to take Mahomes and the over. These are two of the most creative. 2.5. Yeah, so a half point. I'll take that. These are two of the most brilliant offensive minds in football. With 2 weeks to prepare, I think this is going to be a who has the ball last game. And so I will take the over. I will take Kansas City plus 2.5. And I'm going with the trifecta. I think if they win, they're doing it. They are going to just spit in everyone's, all the haters' faces. Kelsey gets the MVP.
I mean, like I said, if he gets more than 7 catches and interception in a touchdown, you're hard not to do it. I'll jump on. You can go last, Raj. 2 weeks ago, I went into the show, let in thinking that San Francisco was going to, they were the better team. On paper, they're the better team. And by the end of last week's show, I had kind of decided that, yes, they were the, on paper, better team, but they haven't played the best between the two in this playoff run. And I've been piggybacking back and forth, and I do think the crowd's going to lean San Francisco. But I'm not sure how much that's going to matter down the stretch. Now, you look at how San Francisco's first two halves of the two games they've played have been against Green Bay. They looked terrible in the first half. Against Detroit, they got smacked in the mouth. Second half, they dominated against Detroit. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. It's still a sore subject in my department, but that worries me. They were also playing against a team that hasn't been there and were very young. I didn't have the experience. I don't think you're going to be able to get away with that against the one team in the last probably 6 years that is absolutely dominated. I don't know if you would call them a dynasty, but this team knows how to win. Patrick Mahomes knows how to win when he's the underdog. He's proven that in this playoff run. So it's really tough for me to say that San Francisco can overcome that. It's going to be a turnover game. Who makes the less mistakes? And I know that's old cliche. Everyone says it, but I think when it comes down to it, it's really, really matters because Brock Purdy's playing in his first Super Bowl and Mahomes is playing in his third. So I think that's huge in the mindset. Oh, his fourth Super Bowl. I think that mindset alone is really huge. So I agree. Who's got the ball last? And I think you could be looking at five minutes left. San Francisco with the ball with a slight lead and a turnover to hopefully future Detroit Lion L'Jarius Sneed and puts the ball in Mahomes' hands in crunch time. And I think Harrison Butker is going to hit a 48-yard field goal at the end of regulation to not only win the Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think it's going to cover the Super Bowl by a half point. So who should get the MVP? Future Detroit Lion L'Jarius Sneed, who is sitting at plus 18,000. I'm looking at money here. He's going to make the big play. But yes, I think it's going to come down to Kelsey plus 1,400. I think this is definitely his year. His girlfriend has put him back on the map, allegedly. So I think it's time. I know we just mimicked each other, but it just makes too much sense. I don't think Mahomes is gonna get that spotlight back. I think it's too bright for the Taylor, Kelsey, and so yeah. Give me the Chiefs in one of the most memorable Super Bowls in history to cover and win. Sorry, Danger. I know our good buddy Johnny Danger, who provides us with all the software. Huge 49er fan. Actually couldn't come out to the speakeasy last week because he did not want to be surrounded by Lions fans. So I know he's probably cringing right now, but I got to go with what's real. And it's hard to bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs. So.
Yeah, man, that's where I'm from out west. The Niners are actually fairly polarizing. Many of us grew up, they were so damn good, we hated them. Others, like one of my best friends, Neil, who's from the city, loves the Niners. They are, one of the most iconic teams in football. There's no doubt about it, in all of sport. And when I look at those teams in the past that not only knew how to win, but that were just built on balance and veteran leadership and again, balance in terms of offense and defense.
Breaking news, Christian McCaffrey just got Offensive Player of the Year on NFL honors. So,
well, there you go.
Yep.
Shocker. Well, one of the things, though, was the chip on the shoulder. People had talked about, McCaffrey didn't get this award or that award, so he really wants Super Bowl MVP. So maybe. Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, Jeremy, you're absolutely spot on. That's maybe the most memorable.
2 yards away. It's not Pete Carroll's fault, but yeah. Danger Russ not giving the ball to Oakland.
And real quick, Randy.
I have a yard short. Kevin Dyson, a yard short memory is my most
Mike Jones.
forgettable.
Mike Jones,
yeah,
back in the day.
Randy has Debo MVP, and he likes the Niners. So we got a 49 Randy. So
okay,
if that happens, it's gonna.
I'm sorry, Barry. Barry likes.
Barry. Shout out to Heather too for watching us.
I'll get to the point. I'm going with the better coached, the better overall team with more experience, bigger stars that know how to play, that have been there, that can deal with the pregame, that can deal with 60 minutes of halftime. It's a total deviation from everything you know. And this is Purdy's second season, first full season. There's going to be a huge spotlight on him. This Kansas City defense is 25 years and 279 days old. It's the youngest Spagnola's ever had. It's the second youngest ever to make the Super Bowl. The 2009 Colts were the youngest. They did lose. But this is a team that's gone through injuries up and down, and they haven't had next man up. And they're an organization we've talked about that drafts and develops talent better than anyone else. Justin Reed, Brian Cook, their safeties go down. Jamari Connor comes in. Mike Edwards comes in. Now they're all healthy, and they got 4 safeties, which is something you can use against this Niner team with big receivers and everyone else, and especially C-Mac. And I expect Kansas City, who, again, against weather, yes, was a big deal, but Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Tua to 57% combined, the 3 arguably best quarterbacks in the league, 57% combined completion percentage and 5.3 yards per reception. And if you can limit Brock to those types of things, he will make mistakes. And long story short, I'm going to take Kansas City. I'd take him at 1. I'd take the money line. I'd take it all. I hate them, but I do not see them losing this game. Interesting note of the winners out of 55 Super Bowls, only 7 have won and not covered. What does that mean? If San Francisco wins, let's say it's a 3-point by game time, then the odds are they would not win by 1 to 3 points. They would cover. So do you see San Francisco, I ask myself, winning by 7, by 10? I don't, barring just some kind of just massive turnover collapse and Mahomes getting hit by a truck like at halftime. I don't know. Usher dancing on his soul. I don't know. I just think that the Chiefs are just better coached.
Confessions part 3.
Look at you. That's you, Robbie.
That may be props, not confession. But yeah, you're the attorney. Defend him. But no, I mean, I see Kansas City. I love a lot of their props. I love Pacheco. I'm going to go to MVP. It's easy to go with Mahomes. He got the last 2. That is a tough one. It could be what's his name? James Toney, who's the dude for the Giants who caught it against his helmet and got the MVP.
He was Michigan receiver. It was Manningham, Mario Manningham.
That's right. I could see MVS doing something like that because Pacheco, you're going to have to see him do a lot of stuff. I don't see him get MVP. I don't want Kelsey. I'm going to go with Rashee Rice at plus 5,000. I think he's going to break 1 or 2. And I think the Chiefs will find a way. Over under. That's tough, man. At 47.5. I always like pulling for the over, but
I like the over. I forgot that one.
Again, Kansas City's allowing 13.7 points in the playoffs, 17.3 during the regular season. So if you like the Chiefs, the odds are it will be the under. I fucking hate betting for the under because it's so boring. So I'd probably bet on the over, but I would not be surprised at all if this was a 24-20 game.
So we're all betting on the Chiefs and the over. So take the Niners and the under.
Yeah, do the opposite. Yeah. I've done that many times and gone 4-1 on 5 games versus 1-4. Just whatever I think, do the exact opposite. But yeah, folks. Anything else? Anybody has anything? Hit it up. We can get back on and we'll talk about it. Any bets? Anything you got? Anything different? We're all about it. But hopefully, get those value picks in so you can make, if you win one, make sure it's the plus 5,000, not the minus 120. So find that value. And guys, we're going to go into last words, or what would you like to do?
Yeah, last words.
Yeah, we can do that.
Final
words. One of these weeks, you guys are going to get it right. So
someday.
Go ahead, start us off there, Robbie.
Raj or Rob?
Robbie.
Oh,
we're gonna finish with Raj. He's got a special thing. So
yeah. Well, okay. Well, one, I'm gonna echo. I guess pre. I don't know what the adjective is for pre-echo, but I am going to stand behind what Raj is going to say. A beautiful night tonight and rain-soaked LA. But I'll let Raj touch on that more. What I want to talk about is just the hypocrisy and the just kind of behind the scenes stuff that goes on with the billionaires and these pro sports owners. There was a report out tonight that NFL owners are able to own up to 5% of these gambling companies. So whether it's DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, MGM. And the kicker is they don't have to disclose what they own, and the NFL doesn't require it. So it's just like these billionaires in there. Let's be honest. I mean, so Al Davis is one of the few where that's his worth. Most of these owners, though, these are toys for them, or just like they're big yachts. And they have made this $1 billion asset, and now you can own up to 5% into any one company or all of them, and that company, if the passion for that comes off of your toy, and it's just this circular generation of wealth, and it's just kind of sickening. Obviously, I'm envious. I'd like to be there. But it's just, it is just kind of, while we're talking about this whole show, and we could talk for hours on the bets. And this Super Bowl is undoubtedly going to come in with the most money ever wagered. And next year's going to come on. Yeah, and the next one's going to be the next. And this money printer keeps rolling on. Yeah. And I guess just my words are like it's just all linked together, and they all planned it.
Well, my final words for tonight, as a fan of a team that has never made the Super Bowl, seeing the first half 2 weeks ago gave me hope, and that hope did not die after the second half. As we all know what happened. The Lions' future is very bright. I couldn't be more proud to be a fan of that team. If you've watched the show before, this is the first year I've ever had season tickets to the team. So my wife and I got to experience the whole season, the playoffs. It was a year I will never forget. Those 2 home playoff games were just, there are no words that, as a fan, as a starved fan, everyone knows the stories. It's been 32 years since a home playoff win. They've had 1 playoff win since 57. So, but on that narrative, local Detroit sports talk radio, we're posting questions. Are you going to watch this Super Bowl? And the amount of Lions fans, and I've been very outspoken about Lions fans. They drive me crazy to the nth degree. Whether they're bashing Jared Goff or whatnot, MCDC needs to be fired. It's lunacy. There are so many Lions fans that are saying, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I'm not wasting my time. I don't care what team wins. don't have when did that become ever a thing prior to the Lions actually getting on the precipice of winning? As far as I can remember, as a kid, we never watched football as a family, but we watched the Super Bowl because it's a holiday. It's the one year that you don't have to be a football fan. You just watch the pageantry. You watch for the commercials. You watch for the halftime show. Or a lot of people are going to watch for what they might see this week with Taylor Swift or whatever the case may be. I just think it's ridiculous to think that because the Lions did not make it to this game that you're not going to watch it. It's shut up. And if I could reach through the radio and smack a lot of these people, I would. It's just stupid. The Lions will be back. I'm sure of it. This isn't a one-trick pony. It won't be 32 years, but you damn better believe I'm going to be watching this football game because all bets aside, it's going to be a damn good football game, and I'll just leave it at that.
I echo that. I think it'll probably be the highest watched sporting event of all time. Mm-hmm. And especially considering there's going to be a billion 14-year-old girls tuning in as well. Yeah. There are live lines and there are ways on like her Instagram to bet on that. And every time she shows, there's a direct correlation between Twitter and TikTok and everything, Snapchat, like just people start firing shit off. So it's going to be insane. And it's just going to be an amazing game. And I can't wait for it, even though, again, I hate both teams and they're playing at the Raiders' house. But what I wanted to touch on again is, growing up in Los Angeles, I was so lucky in the 80s to have the Showtime Lakers with Magic and Kareem and Byron Scott, AC Green, Michael Cooper, on and on and on and on. And, of course, big game James Worthy.
They lost the Pistons in '89.
Yeah, that was –
they beat them in '88.
That one was a little different. Stupid microwave and James Edwards. But anyways, Jerry West is the greatest talent evaluator ever. And side note, he is the logo on the basketball, and over 2 million signatures were collected to change that logo to Kobe Bryant's fadeaway, which would be kind of cool, an honor to both. But Jerry West traded the 13th overall pick in 1996, six, the year with Garnett, to the Charlotte Hornets, who had selected Kobe Bryant. He traded Vlade Divac for that pick and the rights to whomever they got. And Kobe was a skinny 18-year-old from Lower Merion High School, number 33 in Pennsylvania. His first year in the playoffs, he aired the ball 4 times from 3 as the Lakers got swept by Utah. He got in late. After that offseason, he became the Mamba. And Kobe Bryant became the single greatest individual, in my opinion, in basketball and arguably sport history. The accomplishments speak for themselves. But when you look through the accomplishments, whether they be, 2 golds, including the captain of the Redeem team, of all those guys, Iverson, LeBron, of his peers respected him the most. 5 rings, 3rd all-time in points and in playoff points, 6 60-point games, 25 50-point games. He had a 60-point game in his 20th season last game, which is absolutely insane. Tore his Achilles during a game, still shot the free throws and made them both, then went out of the game and was out for the year. One of the toughest individuals of all time, 20-time All-Star, I believe, 18 straight, which is a second only to Kareem, on and on and on. More importantly, when it comes to basketball, people don't realize schematically how his game evolved and adapted. Winning a championship with the Lakers and the Triangle and Shaq versus a few years later, paying their dues against Boston and doing it with a completely different personnel, and Pau Gasol playing sort of that 4-5 combo and just an entirely different role. And I don't want to make comparisons, but, Jordan and Pippen did one thing, but then Jordan and another Iverson or something, it would be just a total adaptation. And it's just so unique and rare. Him and Phil, Kobe Bryant is an absolute IQ of a genius. He spoke, I know, almost fluent in Chinese, Spanish, English, and Italian. He had learned parts of Serbian and other languages, even a little Russian to communicate with teammates. He would communicate with Pau fluently, which helped them greatly on the court. He had said he learned some Chinese and some Russian so he could cuss at refs and they wouldn't know what he was saying. One of my favorite quotes when they talk about the Mamba mentality is the moment you give up is the moment that you let someone else win. He is an absolute ultimate competitor. There was nothing that would stop him. He had talked about fear, that the last time I was scared, I was in karate. I was an orange belt facing a bigger kid that was a black belt. And yeah, he kicked my ass, but it wasn't that bad. And then I knew I shouldn't be afraid of anything. He later then said, except bees. Fuck bees, man. I'm allergic. But other than that, you know, the fear is in the eyes of the beholder. It's only what you make of it. Embrace it. Kobe Bryant always said, and move forward. When he retired, he started the Mamba mentality, which basically started out with the Mamba Sports Academy, which combined not just basketball, but opportunities for everyone, girls, boys. He did software development. His sole goal was to make the earth a better place. And just a brilliant individual. Again, I mean, if you read into his software development and the worlds that he was joining, it's just fascinating. The Academy launched a Mamba on 3 fund after he had passed, which is something he had thought about to support other families going through tragedies. The Mamba and then the Mambacita, and a shout out and ode to Gigi Foundation for Women and underserved athletes in sports. The accolades are just off the wall. And for me to be able to watch every game of his from a young kid to the man he became and the way that he changed the world, I don't get emotional much, but, you know, Kobe Bryant is one of those individuals that transcends the game. That, you know, there's a mural of him outside Boston Garden. There's one in Miami. You know, there's just universal respect. My kids today, like my son knows, but, you know, you hear him go Kobe, like shooting something at the trash can. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when they learn, I mean, that becomes basically a pillar in, you know, everyday life in language. And I can go on, but it's just, I miss the dude, but it's really amazing that we have so much that he represents to live by. And there's a reason why they call it the Mamba mentality. So rest in peace, Kobe, Gigi, and all 9 souls, or the other 9 souls that passed on that fateful day in the Santa Monica Mountains. And just try to live life with that Mamba mentality every day. Mm-hmm. You are your own worst enemy. You can rise above. Nothing can stop you with the right mindset.
Very, very well said. And I just want to add one thing is, I grew up also idolizing Kobe, and he, in a era of people that didn't want to be judged by who they were chasing, Kobe went right after Michael Jordan and said, I want to be better than him, and I'm going to be better than him. And he never backed down from that. And that's just so rare in this kind of social media society that we live in now. And one of the greatest memories that of watching basketball was that All-Star game, Kobe versus Michael. And Kobe was probably 19, 20 years old. And he went right at, that was just awesome basketball. And 2 of the greatest to ever do it.
Mm-hmm. And Michael respected him. Yes. He called him his big bro. Kobe would talk to him all the time.
Well, at the funeral, Michael broke down, just couldn't get through his speech.
Yes, and that was the same mentality that he had, the ultimate competitor. And he calls out the greatest, and the greatest ends up respecting him even more.
Yeah,
because it was true. He came at it 100% pure. He wasn't just popping off, man. He believed it in his heart, and it just shows you, you know, with a genuine nature. And again, you are your own best friend and your own worst enemy. And it's always better to be friends.
Yep.
But yeah, rest in peace, Kobe. If you haven't seen the statue, like I think Tom showed it, it's beautiful, and I can't wait to see it when I'm out in LA. And yeah, just 2/8/24. It's a day that leaves me speechless. But thank you all. You guys want to close it out? Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, please follow us and like us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, YouTube. Also, programming note. I think there is a big NCAA versus UT hearing coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to do a what are we calling it, Tom?
It is called Game Plan Eurus.
Yes, Game Plan Eurus.
Where sports and law collide. It's going to be kind of a different aspect of reckless speculation because of our unique situation of having Robbie and our good friend Michelle Kay. She's going to come on. She's a legal expert as well. So she's going to break down what that law.
I don't know if anyone's ever called me a legal expert, but yes.
They're going to break down this case, and then anytime that there's an intermingle between law and sports, we're going to come in under that moniker, which is kind of a unique aspect that this show brings that you don't get anywhere else. You get sports and law. So we're going to unite those two.
And then we have Raj as the smart lawyer that doesn't practice, which is the brightest of all of lawyers.
We try to translate how fucked up basically the action is that's going on, and basically what is the motive, because that's all the law is, right? The motive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll try to do that Monday night, but we'll get it in before the hearing on Tuesday so we can kind of break down what's going on. So please follow us so you get the notification when we're on. And because, ladies and gentlemen, this, without giving up too much, this is the death knell of the NCAA, and it's coming.
Yep, absolutely. So look for that on Monday night, 8:00 Eastern, most likely. But go follow the socials so you get all your notification for that. So great show, fellas. As always, the knowledge. Go get your money, put some money down, get those bets out. Throw us some of your better bets on the socials, and so we can kind of see what you guys are doing. But for Raj Mehta, Robbie Davis, and we did not get to be joined by Brandon Chain, who is sick with COVID and the flu. He's kind of got a double barrel here, and we really thinking about you, buddy. We hope you're feeling better, and hopefully you can join us next week. But again, this is Reckless Speculation Podcast. I am Tom Sloan. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Reckless Speculation. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, searching Reckless Speculation. Catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. We look forward to catching you right here next week with another exciting episode of Reckless Speculation.